Fitting a saddle for the rider is a pretty complex topic. I will cover this more in the fitting courses because it is just more complicated. So for fitting an English saddle for the rider, the most important things are obviously the seat size and then also the flap length, but also the flap position and the iron bar position. So all of those things can impact how a saddle fits the rider. Seat size and measuring for seat size does depend on what style of English saddle you're looking at. If you're looking at a all-purpose or general-purpose saddle, a jumping saddle, dressage saddle, those are all different flap shapes and typically different seat designs. So measuring for them is going to be a little bit different for each. What's important as far as when you're sitting in a saddle is that the angle of your upper leg and your knee, we want to follow the edge of the flap. So if your knee is coming out, over the knee roll, obviously that means that your upper leg is potentially too long, your irons are too short. And then we want the front of your calf, your shin, to also be following kind of the angle of the flap. So it gets complicated. What also is challenging is balance point of a saddle and if that's appropriate for the rider, the horse, and the activities that they're going to be doing. Balance point is really dictated by the saddle's design, how flat or deep the seat is, where the deepest point of the seat is, where the iron bar or stirrup hanging is located. Influences rider's leg position and also therefore how the seat fits, and then of course flap design. So these are pretty complicated topics that I think are too much for this course, but we will be talking about them in the fitting courses. So if you specifically want to know more about assessing fit for English saddles, you'll want to look at the fitting course. Fitting Western saddles to the rider is a little bit less complex. Of course, there is variety and preference, but as far as something fitting them is a bit simpler. I do find that it will depend on rider's preference of stirrup length. So for example, if someone typically rides in a 15-inch Western saddle, in most treeless saddles, 15-inch will also accommodate. There are some, essentially the deeper the seat, the higher the cantle, the higher the pommel, you'll probably want to go up a size. But in general, a lot of them are straight across. And one thing to take into consideration though is your stirrup length. If you tend to like to ride longer, then odds are a straight across size, the 15-inch, will be suitable. If you like to ride with a shorter stirrup, you might find you need to go up a little bit in treeless saddles so that you have enough room between the seat and the edge of the pommel for your upper leg. Because we do want to have a couple fingers width between your thigh, your upper leg, and the edge of the pommel. So if you think about it, the shorter your stirrup is, the closer your upper leg and thigh will get to the edge of the pommel. So you may need to go up a half size or a full size, especially if you're wanting a saddle with a deeper seat. If you want a higher cantle and a higher pommel and you tend to ride shorter, you might need to go up even a full seat size.